Okay, and here we go into game 1 of Racing Gaming versus Donkey Kong round of 16 matchup. Um, Bans have just finished as the teams are discussing whether Zane's allowed to stream this from his point of view. And I think they have come to the conclusion that yes, he is. So clearly this game will also be available on Twitch past broadcasts from Zane's channel if you want to watch that from, how he sees the game. Could be interesting. Or you could just stay here because please don't leave me. So bands coming out here: Ophelia, Circe, Pestilence, and Tempest. Ophelia and Pesty banned by Ambivoid, Circe Tempest banned by Slaskidrit over there on DNKE. And pretty typical bans once again. Ophelia and Circe are extremely common as bans nowadays. I don't even remember the last time I saw Ophelia get played. It's just every single game she gets banned out. Circe, pretty much the same. That series between BMG and Twisted Fusion, Circe was not banned in the second game, but she also wasn't picked, so that was a little weird. Sorry, she wasn't banned in the first banning stage, she was banned in the second banning stage.
Engineer.
So, two junglers, of course, taken out. Pestilence, probably one of the strongest heroes in the game, often considered first pick material, also relieved of his ability to come into this match. And Circe, the final support, of course, very powerful with not only invisibilities and the illusions being annoying as hell, but the ultimate, turning you from an underfarm support into an overfarm carry if you get it onto the right hero, as often happens. So strong bans there from both sides, and nothing particularly out of the ordinary or surprising. So we move to the picking stage right here. Kraken, Engineer, and waiting on the third pick here from Reason Gaming. As what a surprise, they're picking up Engineer. They love that hero. They play it so often. And they often get that NG and then some other support too. They seem to not run junglers nearly as much as other teams do, and I don't know if that's Imbiboy thinking that, junglers are a little overrated, or if his team feels the same way, or if they just don't have that much confidence in the jungle. I think Saint Rox is their jungle player, and maybe he just prefers to play that second support role. Could be any number of things. I mean, maybe just the lineups they pick don't tend to work well with junglers. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of reasons why that could be the case, and they've had a little bit of success running second supports against jungle lineups, but I still do prefer running a jungler against second support. I think it gives you a pretty significant advantage, and the fact that Reason continues to run these dual supports all the time, I think, is eventually going to hurt them pretty significantly. Of course, still one of the top teams in HoN, so it's kind of hard to get hurt too badly when your skill is just that much higher than most of your opponents. But the NG Kraken picks, meanwhile, into a fade there, so I'm suspecting an NG fade middle. It's obviously a very strong lane, of course. Burning Shadow Sun setting up an NG Keg, and then Turret and Call both providing plenty of damage. Lots of kill potential there, solid range on the initiation, and of course it takes away that problem with NG Keg, which is typically, it's very difficult to land, even on an experienced engineer player. The travel time in it is significant, and it's often hard to make sure that you hit that if that's what you're initiating with. So with the Burning Shadows, and hopefully, that is an NG Fade middle lane, but with the Burning Shadows, that should end up going fairly well, and in favor of Reason. Kraken, of course, last pick can be run either as Suicide Carry mid lane, so we'll see where he ends up. Usually run as a solo. He loves having that extra experience, but of course you can run him in a dual lane. He does decently in that situation. I don't think he's got that much kill potential personally. He's more of a tank, and he likes his levels, so for that reason he feels like more of a solo laner, but certainly not bad in a dual lane. I probably wouldn't tri-lane him, but So the picks over here for the Hellborn side: Torture, Wretched Hag, and Tundra. I've been seeing a little more Tundra lately, as he used to be considered probably the top hero in the game, not just because he's relatively versatile. He does everything fairly well. He ganks pretty well. He doesn't gank super well. He carries a little bit. He pushes decently. But of course, the Hawk providing extra vision is so valuable when it comes to setting up ganks or defending yourself, when it comes to pushing, making sure that you're not going to get jumped in places. So if you have a player who can adequately use that Hawk, then it makes a really big difference and can help you out a hell of a lot. So Hopefully we'll see some good play there. Of course, Wretched Hag, extremely versatile hero. Suicide, Mid, Initiator, Carry, she can fill all those roles. We'll see what she does here. Torture, similar vein, of course. Usually run as a support, but occasionally run as a carry. Stay Green, most notorious for doing that. Of course, Chessie does like that support, or that carry Torture, and really so do I. So we'll see what happens here. I suspect this is going to be a support Torture, especially because both sides have not picked up a jungler, and with the Keeper and Parasite now banned in the second stage, I don't think either of them will. So most likely we're going to see that support Torture. And speaking of the second stage of bans, Parasite, Sandwraith, and Moon Queen banned out here by Boy, so taking out one of the junglers and then two short laners. A little interesting considering Hag might already fill that role for the Hellborn side, so if they pick up something like a Bubbles here to run in the Suicide and the second support, they could just run a short lane Hag and be totally fine. So we'll see if that's the case, but certainly getting rid of Moon Queen and Sandwraith never a terrible idea. Then again, of course, they could have used them on Reason's side, so we'll see what happens there. So I think that a little curious ban's really not bad, but interesting. Probably not the heroes I would have picked. Rally, Flux, Keeper of the Forest on the Hellborn side, getting rid of some mid-heroes and the potential Suicide Rally. The Flux makes a ton of sense, of course, because of Engineer's presence. And they are looking for a third farmer here over on Reason, so getting that Flux NG combo, plus, of course, the Kraken would be extremely powerful. So that's a real good ban right there. Keep the Forest, of course, preventing Reason from being able to run a jungler. Not necessarily, they wouldn't necessarily have done that anyway, of course, because they do have, a proclivity to not run junglers. So there's that. But certainly in this case, they won't have the option, at least. Rally a little interesting, I think. I'm not sure. Rally Kraken Fade would have been the best thing. 3 melees there, although of course Reason does go for the 3 melee. Farmer initiate or set up anyway with Drunken Master on Boy. But decent bans on both sides as the final picking stage is now done and over with. Drunken Master Andromeda here from Reason, as of course they do go for that second support, unable to pick up a jungler. DM on Boy, of course, can be played really in all 3 roles as well. Does Suicide, he can mid, he can also short lane. So we'll see what role he gets put in here. Zane running up on that Kraken makes me suspect it's going to be a Suicide Kraken. So Andro DM, Fade NG, or Andro DM bot, Fade NG mid, and Kraken Suicide, I would hope as the lanes here. Those are very powerful lanes, and they would give Reason a pretty good chance to win all 3 for that matter. Kraken, of course, is a little harder to do, but he can certainly win that Suicide. Over there on the side of Donkey Kong, Hammerstorm, and Master of Arms, the last pick, so that is going to be a support Torturer then, and a support Master of Arms. Both roles I like for those heroes. Master of Arms especially, I do like support Master over carry Master a little bit. And we'll see what they go with here. I'm suspecting it's going to be 2 dual lanes here as well. They could tri-lane this. Hammerstorm, Torturer, and Master of Arms tri-lane actually wouldn't be bad, especially if they go aggressive. Here, they could do a very good job of shutting this DM and whoever his lane partner is down. So, I assume it is going to be DM solo or DM not solo short lane, but DM short lane because it's A, Boy, he's the carry player, and B, that makes a lot of sense for them for this lineup. But we'll see. Zane is headed top on this Kraken, so this is pretty definitely going to be a Kraken Suicide. And meanwhile, we're looking for a possible engagement here in the Legion jungle. So as I was saying, predicting the Hellborn's lanes feels to me like it's a little more difficult. They could Suicide the Hag and run the aggressive safe tri-lane. They could short lane the Hag, run the aggressive tri-lane with both those with Tundra in middle. They could dual lane really Hammerstorm and Torture or Master, and then put the other one with Tundra. Really, and they could run any of those lanes in any 3 lanes. So Donkey Kong here doing a good job of picking up some interesting and unpredictable lanes as it is going to be the aggressive tri-lane here. So Master Hammer and Torture going to run aggro. And it looks like Legion might respond with the tri-lane of their own, in fact, as Andro's sort of hanging out in the middle here. It is going to be bot Fade NG as opposed to mid Fade NG. And with a Word of Sight here, they're going to spot the tri-lane. So it looks like Andro's going to head bot, realizing, okay, this is going to be an aggressive tri-lane, so I need to be down here in order to make sure that my lane doesn't get crushed. So the Ward of Sight will go down here. That blocks the pull, of course, and they're going to see Andromeda. She's sort of going to bait. There's a Hammer Storm Stomp coming out. Let me see the charge shot in a second. There it is. Where's the chain reactions? Keg actually going to hit a bunch on top of the Comet Stun from Andromeda, but they're trying to block her. And she's going to eat through these trees here. Chain reactions will hit. She's in trouble here, and that's going to be a dead Andro. Now, Engineer in some trouble here. Not enough mana, of course, for Hammer Storm Stun quite yet, but he does pop that health mana pot. Chain reactions, Burning Setup Shot is going to hit too. Keg not going to hit anybody, but Engineer will get away. So good start here for the Hellborn team. Donkey Kong managing to pick off that Andromeda relatively early. And that will give them, of course, a 1-0 kill advantage, and we'll see what Reason can do. Of course, both sides have 3 stuns. And both sides have 1 targeted stun, and of course 1 line stun for the Legion, and 2 or 3 AoE stuns between Engineer, Torture, and Hammerstorm. Of course, and Hammerstorm stun is targeted, but it does do an AoE effect. Middle here, Drunken Master versus Tundra should be a relatively even matchup. DM might be in slight favor here because he does have a little more harass potential. Of course, Piercing Shards from Tundra are powerful, but not enough to, they can't really be spammed compared to the Stagger and Lunge by DM. As you see him chasing him down into the tower a little bit here. Just want to focus on this bottom lane for the most part because I do expect most of the action to be down here. There's a Comet Stun and a Burning Shadows onto Hammerstorm, sort of stacked there. Charge Shot into Fade away on Fade, and she will survive, or Hammer will survive, excuse me. Chain Reaction is also hitting as he pops a health pot. So Mana Potion on Fade. If they hadn't stacked their stuns there with the Comet Stun and Burning Shadows, then they might have been able to grab a kill on a Hammerstorm as he just barely got away. But Hammer pretty clearly a little afraid here as he is still level 1. Level 2 on Torture, but level 2 on both Fade and Engineer, so slight level advantage here for the, there's a Burning Shadows onto camera, and the talk and everything. There's the Comet Stun, finally not stacking, and Hammerstorm will go down, so good play there, as Master of Arms just headed middle for some reason. As Drunken Master's in a little trouble here. Not enough, he's not gonna, oh, nope, hasted. Actually, there's Master, and there's the haste, so he's dead. So good gank there on it, Imboy, unfortunately losing Master, or Hammerstorm as he went to leave. Of course, his top lane, Rex Hag versus Kraken. Hag should win this with the liberal application of the Haunt. Kraken really won't be able to kill her until level 6, but actually at that point will be able to kill Hag, especially if she's able to harass her down a little before that. But I do expect Hag to win this lane and Zane to do just fine, though. She certainly shouldn't get completely boxed out. More action in middle, actually, as the Cold Shoulder and Piercing Shards come out. DM taking a little more harassment. Just going to stick bottom because this is where most of the kills have been, 2 out of 3. Just in choosing not to initiate it on Fade there. So, levels are now even once again, 2-2-3. And we'll see what happens here. Cancel that mana potion, somebody. Took long enough. And so Hellborn with some pretty serious lane control here. But Hammerstorm's still pretty timid when it comes to come up and taking CS. And of course Legion not really interested in initiating right here because they don't have lane control, they don't want to dive tower. And they should be able to lock somebody down for long enough with their 3 stuns to get them killed, but of course they would have to probably sidestep a chain reactions at some point. There's not too much going on right now, even though it is dry lane. It's finally going to push under the tower, so this might push the lane back out into a situation where Legion is able to initiate a little bit better. I'm a little surprised that Hellborn aren't playing a little more aggressive. Now they do have a significant level advantage, 4-3-2 compared to 4-3-3. And with the tower right there, you know, they have the ability to run and get away if they initiate and things go sour quickly. So, a little interesting, especially Engi's just walking up there. It's just, get him. I mean, they're in position, really, to initiate on this engineer. He's not that tanky, 644 health. Don't know what they're waiting for in Hellborn, really. It seems like they've had a few opportunities at this point to jump somebody. Maybe they're looking for a dual stun from Hammerstorm. They're going to use him to initiate, and they want him to be able to put this thing on. Actually, Burning Shadows, there's the Keg. Chain Reaction's going to hit Engineer. There's the Comet Stun, though, and the turret plus the auto attacks are going to finish him off. Looking for the kill on Andro now, as Master of Arms is digging himself in deep. Not going to get the kill there. And he might be in a little bit of trouble here as the Burning Shadows is up in a second. There it is, on pocket the Keg. Keg's not even necessary. Tundra coming in from the side, actually. Finishes up both Tilla and St. Rocks. And now, with the double damage rune on Tundra, Fade's in a lot of trouble. There's the last auto attack, and it's a head drop. So, a good initiation there from the Legion team. They got a couple kills on their own, but then the Tundra coming in with the DD rune was enough to screw with them pretty hard. Nice disjoint there with the stagger from Imboy on that DD Tundra. So Hellborn taking the slight advantage there as they trade 2 for 3. Of course, the big problem was most of the heroes on the Hellborn side, particularly Hammerstorm, were not there for the kills. So he is still level 4 now, and after he has mid. See a jump onto Tundra, and he just... Nothing. Nothing he could do. Got chased down. Tundra does have Steam Boots, but... And actually, Dark Master does not have upgraded boots, so interesting that he's able to chase him down there. And now, of course, Legion regaining lane control. So, able to play someone. Actually, as the Hammerstorm stun just goes out for absolutely no reason. So that was a waste, especially because Hammerstorm does not have the largest mana pool. So just throwing out random stuns there, especially in a tri-lane, not something you can do. Like you need to make sure that you save that for when you absolutely need it. Hawk going to be scattered out here, so I don't know if they actually saw Tundra. I don't think they did, but they see the Hawk. That's enough for them to back up. As, of course, Tundra's missing from middle, so they figure that's probably where he's at, looking for a gank on here. The Hawk does go down to an Aurora, and Andro picking up a little bit of gold for that. Fade coming in off the side, looking for an initiation with the Burning Shadows. Not quite level 6 yet, so, of course, not invisible, but... not that big a deal. It's a horrible sound that she's making. So, in terms of the farm here, Imboy on top, actually, after that kill, despite going 1 for 1 in that middle lane, and Tundra picking up a bunch of kills on bot. He is 363 GPM to 326 compared on Tundra, both, of course, they're top farmers in the game. Wretched Hag in the short lane at 270. Don't understand why it's that low. You really should be doing a better job in this lane. Cracking 241, not bad at all. So Zane having a nice time there up in that top lane. And he's in that position where if he gets a gank, then he'll take the gold per minute lead, and that's usually not what you want to happen if you're the short laner up against the suicide. Usually there needs to be a little bit more lane control. That Burning Shadow's on 2. Here's the Keg, also going to hit 2. There's the Aurora. Here comes the Comet Stun. Master of Arms puts the Blast Shot away, but there Imboy comes with a cleanup on Hammerstorm. And he's chasing down Master and Torture. Both of them are in a lot of trouble. There's a stagger. Burning Shadow's going to hit Torture there. That's going to kill him. Ultimate from Fade, so they have plenty of vision of Master's Arms here, and he'll die. Imboy with a hat trick, and now Death Growl is stuck in the trees a little bit, trying to get him out. So, of course, he gets tree walking from that ultimate, but he attacked Engineer in a place that, or sorry, Master of Arms in a place that, a little scary for him, apparently. So, Legion side cleans up, takes 3 for nothing with the help of Imboy. I think they probably would have gotten at least 2, even without him, because that was a really nice initiation from Fade, hitting both, and then, of course, the Keg stun doing the same. So I think Hammerstorm was pretty dead no matter what, and then very possibly they could have chased down Torture as well. Or Master, for that matter. Meanwhile, up top, Hammerstorm finding Kraken here, and he's going to need to run away. There's the charge. Going to hide in the neutral camp, and they're not going to find him. He's just going to port out. So nice getaway there from Zane. Making sure he had the correct angle here to not hit any trees or anything like that. As Andro's hiding off to the side, there's the keg, followed by the Burning Shadows. There goes Torturer, so just death. Too much lockdown. Torturer can do nothing. And I don't think I ever actually saw a charge shot from Master of Arms. Oh, I did. There was. Never mind. Charge shot in Fourth Lightning. As Moa is now down here by himself. And should probably be a little careful because Andro has swap and stun, I believe. $125, 100, yes. So she has both. And Legion pretty firmly in control of this tri-lane now. Getting that another free kill on Torturer, really. Hammerstrike coming in here. There's a stun, but nice disjoint with it. Not disjoint, but invisibility there, and that's going to prevent further damage from coming out of the Fag. There's a Fag. There's a Keg. Initiation, Burning Shadows onto 2. There's Hammerstorm's death. Probably didn't need the swap, and that's going to kill Andro, actually. As Fade will pour it out. Ultimate from Engineer going to prevent any further chase, so that's a 1-for-1 in favor of the Legion side, of course, as they're trading support Andromeda for the farming Hammerstorm. And Hammerstorm does not have a good time here. 193 GPM. More importantly, he's level 5. It's the tied for the lowest level in his own team with Master of Arms. And in the game, of course. As everybody else in the game, at least level 6, at least having an ultimate, and he does not yet. Jump initiation here onto Tundra, so he's going to take some damage, but almost certainly won't die here. Of course not. DM does some damage, but not enough to kill him there. As the bot rune is going to be a DD, and Drunken Master will go down there to bottle it up. Almost. And we'll see what goes on. Look at the GPM turrets once again real fast. Of course, both supports in the tri-lane have a decent farm, not great. Really, of course, their issue is under-leveledness, as XP per minute you can see for each of the tri-lane heroes is way down for both sides. Burning Shadow is going to hit nothing there, so we'll see if there's counter initiation. Hammerstorm looking for something, but not going to find it. As Andro's off to the side here, there goes the Hammerstorm Sun onto Fade. There's a chain reaction, swap coming out, followed by a Comet Sun, so Torturer's in some trouble here. There's the call. Burning Shadows, there it is. And Torturer's dead. So interesting swap there from Andromeda. Certainly a good one. It definitely helped them secure a kill, but selling was the biggest thing. Of course, at level 1 it doesn't have very much range at all, so.
The Legion have destroyed
Legion Tower falling to imply that Drunken Master with a double damage rune. Of course, does plenty of auto attack damage with that DD, and not that hard to take it down. Piercing Charge, oh nice ultimate from DM, and he's just going to wreck Hammerstorm, so. That DD rune doing a lot of work, and Tundra's in some trouble as well. Is he going to be able to evade this? Maybe chain reactions. Yes, that does hit. And the avalanche. Piercing charge as well. Let's see if Kraken can do something. But there's a lot of support here from the Hellborn team, actually is. Of course, Kraken does take that charge. There's the Bat Blast and Fork Lightning. Release Kraken hits 3. Is he going to be out here? No. There's a chain reactions. And a lot of trouble. Piercing charge and Sono Scream enough to finish him off. As the port gets cancelled. So Zane trying to finish off that kill, not quite able to. Meanwhile, bot tower goes down to Tilla, Andro, and Fade. Hawk going to come in here. Chain reaction actually does hit Drunken Master. Pops the ultimate once again, so he's not going to get charge shot at, but he will just barely die. Master of Arms is going to take a keg stun, and that's going to be his death. So nice cleanup there from Tilla. But not a great trade support for carry, as Slash Kid Rit on the bottom dies once again. Stun combos, and of course the call and the Fade Energizer, so that's obviously a problem. As actually Tundra out a ton of trouble. as Fade will go invisible. And it looks like the Hellborn is going to use that curl to try to chase down. Actually, Fade eating the avalanche there, doing a lot to prevent damage onto Andromeda, and she will be able to get away. Master's Call coming out onto Tundra, so he's going to survive here. But nice, very nice from Fade there, eating that avalanche, so that Andro could live, and that certainly saved her life. I think there's no question that if it wasn't for that she would have died. She did just barely get away. Yeah. That definitely would have been a kill. Good teamwork there, Death Growl. Nice boy. So DM here up to 420 GPM, substantially ahead of anybody on either seed team, really. As Hag is just behind him at 330. Zane doing some diving down here, trying to get a kill. He does have some support from Engineer, but Hammerstorm comes in. And of course, you're not really interested in diving further than that. DM also on the way, and Hammerstorm's down in some trouble there. There's the stagger. Release of Kraken get dropped onto this port, which is going to be cancelled, especially because the Engineer actually Hammerstorm walks in the injury field. That's going to be his death. Almost, yep, in there, even with the Master's Call. Now, Master Barnes is in the wrong place, and he'll also fall. Hag off to the side, in the woods, though. They're not going to find her. Unless there's a well-placed Aurora, or a Fade Ultimate, for that matter. She does have 1 second on it, so... Clearly not thinking that Hag was still there as Death Growl decides to take his leave. Mid tower goes down in favor of the Hellborn, but top tower will fall in favor of the Legion. As Death Growl is cloaked up and looking for a kill onto somebody. Going to find both Tundra and Torturer here. Shouldn't be able to kill either one of them. Maybe Tort if he had on his own. They see an open on Tundra here and then run away. Of course, Tundra with the portal key, but not available as there was some damage coming out onto him. Top secondary tower push now is you still have 4 heroes up here from the Legion side. Hammerstorm looking to defend this, but just Hag are coming in. And Legion side will back off thanks to that. Tundra has an Invis rune, so looking possibly to get somebody picked off, and these triple stacks over here will get taken out. So it looks like he'll spot them here. And Zane going to port out. Going to take the Avalanche stun and the Piercing Shards. This is going to be enough damage. There's a charge shot. Actually going to take the stun, of course. There's the portal key to follow. Fork Lightning will finish him off. So the Keg stun hits Master, but not quite enough to save Zane. Unfortunately, choosing to try to teleport right in front of invisible Tundra, who of course has that Avalanche stun. And that charge was once again nice, but you'll notice it does not disjoint. So he still does take the stun. It finished the charge and it puts him where he would be at the end of it. Actually, Tundra jumps in with a portal key, but Ibba going to be totally fine. So yeah, it puts him where he would be at the end of the charge, but it stuns him at the end of it too. And Fade invisible here with a mana pot on. There's a Ref 4 dropped right there, so he needs to be real careful. Because he's the Hellborn side, like they know that something's going down here. And he is going to be able to get out of there. Second Ref 4 dropped. Just to see what's going on. Imboy on the Drunken Master is hanging out, and Fade's invisible break. She decides to leave. 2-man gang squad, Andro and Engie. These supports running through the Hellborn jungle. Who will get spotted out by this ward. And leave. Some little mid pushing going on, but not too much. As DM Illusions are screwing with the double stack arrangements they have here on the Hellborn side, and the actual DM is farming bot lane. We'll see if he can get another ultimate off while Hammerstorm's throw is in the air. That was very well done in middle earlier. You know, really, I don't think they would have killed him. They probably would have gotten close, at least. But of course, it allowed him to turn around on a Hammerstorm and get a really easy kill, and then nearly kill Tundra as well. Energizer gets popped here. as looking for a big engagement. Andrew, the only member of Legion side that's not here, and the entire Hellborn team is interested in defending this bot secondary tower. Engineer off to the side, as the Legion Word of Sight here actually must be just out of range.
Beasts of the land, hark my call.
Where they see it? Nope. There it is. It is in range. Hammerstorm Sun going on to 2. Fade and Engineer actually. As, man, that Tundra got taken down really fast. So Death Drop falls as well thanks to the Bat Blast. Master of Arms going to die. Getting purged, of course, as he ran through that energy field. So he put the defensive Master's Call up on himself, but died anyway. Imba looking for a kill on Hag, but not going to happen. Swap gonna... The keg wouldn't have hit anyway, but the swap gonna put Hammerstorm in the wrong position. Turret gonna do a ton of damage. Andrew gonna fall to the tower, thanks. Thanks, he says to the tower. Thanks for targeting me out of all the heroes you get targeted. And the tower will fall, so... Trades in favor of the Legion side, 2 for 4, and a tower. They actually don't pick off this Word of Sight. So that's gonna hang out for a bit. As the bird is following them. Was following them. Port coming in middle lane. As Engineer's in a ton of trouble. There he goes. But release the Kraken, dropped onto Tundra. Let's see if he can get out of this. Torrent as well. There's the charge. And Fade coming in as well. Despite the Master's Call, Tundra going to fall here. So trade of Engineer for Tundra. Once again favoring the Legion side. As actually, their farm isn't too different. But of course... Engineer not really a hero that you're prioritizing farm on, and Tundra certainly is. So Hammerstorm really, I think, is the story of this game. Actually, the Rev Ward ran out, so they're going to have to put a new one down, and they're going to counter this ward. Finally. Took them a lot of golden time to counter that ward, but they did get it off. And the stack here didn't actually go, so that sucks for Hag. Hammerstorm's 1-8-1. Guy's just not having the greatest game. He is the lowest level in the game. And just not particularly impactful at this point. You sort of wonder whether it's better to even transition the farm onto something like Torture or something, because he's got almost as much as Hags and run away, just barely finish off these Ancients, as Legion side were coming in to try to do something about that. Hawk coming out, going to spot them hanging out here, as 5 men are grouped up here from Legion side. Aurora will scout the Hawk, but it is invisible now, so no longer able to do anything about that. Looks like Legion's interested in pushing this mid tower, and Hellborn's not fully committed to a defense. Faye gonna get spotted out there by the Rev Ward and the tower, of course, so they know she's in here and invisible. Still on her. There's the Coral finally dying. As she comes off to the side. Pause called by Hellborn, but we don't care about that because we got auto skip pause, boys. Aha! And we'll see what happens. Fade just jumping under the tower, gonna throw the Burning Shadows and Portal Key away. Swap coming out of Torturer, and there's the energy field drop. He's gonna get wrecked, actually, as Andro's getting killed as well. Bat Blast onto 2, but the energy field is going to prevent further initiation by Hag. Tundra jumps in and is going to finish off Till then Engineer, so 2-for-1 trade in favor of the Hellborn. Nicely done by them. Burning Shot is actually hit nothing as Faye manages to PK out once again. Let's see if Zane on this Kraken can get away. Soda Stream not going to hit. Portal Key in there, but actually... Burning Shadows and release the Kraken drop, and let's see if Hag can... Yes, she's going to survive this, actually, as a charge pusher out of the release the Kraken. Probably not a great idea there. Tundra is going to fall. Deathgrowl manages to pick off Hag, and Portal Keys away up top, so Hag actually does fall, and he'll port out. Should be just fine. So 1-for-1 trade there, in favor of Legion side, of course, as they traded their Suicide for their team's short laner, and that 3d8 DPM Hag was really the only thing that the Hellborn side had going for them. I suppose Tundra's not doing too badly, but there's no question that Hag is really their star at this point. So picking off the Hag, of course, in exchange for Tundra, a good trade for Legion side, or in exchange for Kraken. Sorry. bot lane Junkie Master going to get initiated on a little bit here, I think, but it's just both supports, so he's not super concerned about that. And he has a Shield Breaker picked up now. So, nice addition for him as far as items go. And Fade's going to jump here. Burning Shadow's not going to do anything, as actually Hammerstorm now has a portal key, so portal keys all over the place. Hammerstorm, Tundra, Fade. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Kraken pick one up relatively soon. I would be surprised to see Hag pick one up. But she could. I don't know. It's my opinion that portal key is one item that's bad on 0 heroes. Like, I don't, even heroes with Blink like Hag or Magebane, like, it's just not bad on them. It's not the greatest. There's certainly much better items you could pick up, but it's not something where you're like, this is a bad item on that hero. It is good. It is helpful. So, if you're really, really, really bad at this game and you don't know what to buy a portal key. Faye going to be invisible here, but Swap comes out onto Hammerstorm. He's going to take everything, dies super fast. Where's the Bat Blast? Not there. Set up right there. Master Call going out onto Torture, but he's going to get killed as the charge helps finish him off. Andro finishes off the tower here. They're looking for a Bat Blast there. It just hit just as the Strucken Head wears off on Imboboy, and he's going to fall. The Burning Shadow's onto 2 here. And Hag's actually in some trouble. There's the Haunt going out onto him. Let's see if he can do something. Nope, he will far. And Tundra jumps right back in. Actually, Release the Kraken gets dropped onto his face, and now he's going to fall to the combat stun. Wretched Hag with the Sonar Scream, going to come back in, going to try to kill Andromeda. Takes the charge there. Andro ports out. She will be fine. Haunt coming out of the Kraken. He has a DD rune, though. And is he going to port out? No, charge shot, and he's in a ton of trouble. He will fall here, so. Slightly even trade there for both sides. That was a 3 for 4, I believe. But actually, I don't think Master died. So that was a 3 for 3. So that might have been. Yeah, that was even though because the mid tower fell. So better heroes ended up surviving on the Hellborn side. I don't think Master of Arms died. Better heroes ended up surviving on the Hellborn side in Hag and Master compared to the supports on the Legion side, but they did get the mid tower for Legion, so it's probably a fairly even trade in that regard. As really, the Hellborn has not done too much to push, of course, this mid tower falling, and that's it. Half health on the bot tower, a little about a third on the top, but they've only taken out the 1 tower, and they really need to fix that situation. Like, we're almost half an hour into this game and they've taken 1 tower. Not really something you want to be doing.
Beasts of the land,
As Tundra's having somebody hark his call once again. And there's a ton of trouble here. Actually, Dust of Revelation goes out on a Fade, and she's in a lot of danger and will die. Engineer Field doing a lot to keep everybody in the Hellborn spread out, and NG will be able to port away. But a good pick there onto Death Growl, actually also getting that. Imboboy going to jump in here, going to knock the Hammerstorm Sun with the ultimate, going to take out Torture and Eatrin on that Master Bomb super quickly. Eat the Avalanche there though. So there's the Release the Kraken, going to hit mostly nothing as Tundra's now getting away. He's also going to fall. This is pretty hilarious. Nice throw and then Portal Key, and there goes Imboboy. So Imboboy picking up a hat trick.
allow me to retort.
That was pretty hilarious, actually. All the damage that came out with that Shield Breaker, I assume it's level 3. Andrew going to take some health here, damage here. Tundra Stun coming out, and there's the charge, and we'll see if Hag can get out of this. She cannot, so she's just barely going to fall there. Not enough health to survive all those stuns, as now Hammerstorm in ton of trouble. There's a Compa Stun, and the Tag Stun. Now he'll also fall, so there's a Genocide.
Genocide!
Yay, Ms. Pudding. In favor of the Legion team, of course, and that's going to allow them to push up middle, I think, a little bit. Actually, as both Torture and Master of Arms are alive, so maybe not. So, still It's been a relatively even game. Now we're seeing a slight lead in favor of Reason. And we'll see what they can do with this. Of course, they do have a pretty significant tower advantage, and that's the source of a lot of their gold lead. Certainly nothing to be ashamed about, like, oh, you're only winning in gold because you have a bunch of towers dead. That's, I mean, like, they're winning in gold and they have a bunch of towers dead, so that's really good. Lots of map control. So we'll see if they look to push, and it does look sort of like they've got that idea in mind as 5 of them come up here top. They're going to get spotted by the Hawk. It will take an Aurora and a Death there at the auto attack of Engineer. Fade invisible, scouting some stuff out. They have a ward dropped here in favor of the Legion side, so they see that Master of Arms, but he's going to back up, of course, as Hellborn has a ward. Over here, they saw Boy coming in from the river. I think, actually, that tree might be in the way. It's an interesting ward placement. If you put it over here, you get really similar vision, but you also see the river down here instead of... whatever. So Hellborn take that bot tower, but this top tower is also going to fall. And that certainly favors Legion side as they're now looking to push base. And they're going to be able to... There's actually a jump on it. Master of Arms, he just dies. Avalanche on the Fade, and let's see how much damage she can take before she dies. There's a swap onto her, so she'll be fine. Throws down the Deep Shadows. And actually backblast onto 3. Andrew's in a lot of trouble. Tillo's already dead. Fade jumps right back in. Let's see if they can kill Hag, and indeed they can. But Fade's in some trouble. Fade's going to fall. Emboy, the only T-hero left here for the Legion side, is a little too much diving. Buybacks, I believe. Yes, one onto Master of Arms, and that's it. Tundra coming back in here, but I don't think that's going to be enough to finish off Emboy on this Drunken Master. He's a little too tanky. So lots of diving here from the Hellborn side, or Legion side. An appropriate response from Hellborn, as actually mid tower also fell. Yeah. That might have just been the creeps. I don't know, I wasn't actually watching. So nice fight back there from Hellborn. Reducing that golden experience lead a little bit, taking 4 for 3. Yes. Tundra and Torturer were the ones that ended up surviving. And really, like, when you're in a situation like this, taking an even trade favors you. And sometimes taking an uneven trade that would normally be against you actually favors you if you get more valuable heroes picked off. In that situation, of course, they took a favorable trade, so that's a pretty significant golden experience swing for them. I think they got about 2.5k gold back. Now, they did lose some damage on that top tower. It is below half, so if Legion pushes that in relatively soon, and it looks like they might do just that, everybody come to top again, they could get that down relatively quickly. Fade invisible. They're going to find the coral there, so Emboy going to kill it, and Master of Arms seeing that as a cue to maybe back off, or maybe not. Jump there in with Fade, and that's a dead. Oh. Portal Key now on Kraken, like I said before. And with that pick onto Master of Arms, it looks like they're going to once again push top. Of course, Emboy just completed its creep wave. So it makes more sense to push top as the tower is nearly dead compared to the mid tower that has taken 0 damage. But up here, they're looking to go for the creep wave, actually. Fade trying to pick off the courier. Hag will port away. But they're clearly interested in porting or pushing with this creep wave. Fade doing what she can to do as much damage to it as possible so that their creeps don't actually take any, and that's going to get killed rather easily. Found I not quite going to spot this ward here from the Legion side, as Master of Arms is up pretty soon, so of course that pick won't matter too much. They're going to have to win a full 5-on-5 engagement here if they want to finish off this top lane. Port back here from Tundra, of course. Wretched Hag needs to stop doing these Ancients and come defend her base. Her port's down for 20 seconds. So she can travel relatively fast, of course, thanks to that blink, but if they realize this on Legion, then they could get this tower down before Hag even comes back. Both stuns coming out from Torturer and Hammerstorm, trying to prevent something as Hag does regain her positioning. Imberboy going to sip that bottle a little bit and try to stay tanky. So, with all the portal keys on Legion side, I do expect they'll be the ones to jump. Of course, push book, agonizing bonds, everything like that. Just going to clean up creeps like crazy for the Hellborn. And Legion deciding it seems like that this isn't worth it. Imberboy going to continue cleaning up this creep wave, but 3 heroes down here taking down this hard camp. As middle, Hag gonna blink out and be totally fine. There's the Andro actually jump in from Fade, burning shoves onto there, but Hammerstrom's counter jumps with the stun. Chain reaction's gonna miss thanks to the push book, so good push book there from Engineer. And or Torture. Both of them have push books on cooldown. As the Legion side is now officially going to back off, as Kraken, Tundra, or Kraken, DM, and Fade all leaving. Up here, Andro in some trouble. She's got the puzzle box minions on her. There's Hag coming in, gonna finish her off. Hag's shrunken, gonna get popped here, but DM does not care about that. Can do a bunch of damage. Actually takes the ultimate, so the charge shot doesn't do anything. Hammerstrom gonna finish off Engineer on the side. Release the Kraken hitting a bunch. Bat Blast hits a bunch though too. Fade coming in here, also gonna fall most likely. Yep, to the Hammerstorm as now Imberboy in some trouble. Actually going to pick off Tundra there, so Tundra and our Hammerstorm now looking for the stun. He's got a portal key up in 5 seconds. And DM's in some trouble here. Ultimate there. Nice ultimate there from Imberboy. So Hag didn't actually die in that fight, huh? Nope. So a decidedly one fight there for Hellborn. Taken 4, losing 3, and Hammerstorm and Hag both survive. As Slaskid on this Hammerstorm's finally got something going for him to 60 GPM. Has that portal key, of course, very important. Has an Insanitarius. And survived a fight. So that got him some levels as he's level 15. Still on the same level as both Tilla and Deathgrowl. And what about St. Rox on Andro? So 16 now, actually, out-leveling everybody else in the tri-lane. So still suffering a little bit from that tri-lane, but starting to recover, finally. As this Hag is now becoming a problem. Level 22, 450 GPM. Imberboy, on the other hand, is 500, so he's doing even better. As a ward goes down from Legion, but we have both a Word of Sight and a Word of Rev from Hellborn. So that might get countered relatively soon. And Legion team group up once again, looking for Kongor, I think. As the Shiver is gonna keep an eye on it, so if they want to take it, they gotta kill that bird. Aurora will spot it. There it is, using a bunch of abilities to get in there and try to take it out, and it will do that. Dealing with that bird, man, it's annoying. Up top, Wretched Hag pushing in the lane. We're gonna finally get this tower killed. It's tier 1 top, we're now almost 40 minutes in and it still hasn't died. Middle lane, meanwhile, initiation onto Darkling Master there as it's like the Hammerstorm stun. And Engineer's in a ton of trouble. Gets a nice energy field down, actually. Keg stun gonna hit bunch. Slaskid on that Hammerstorm gonna fall. Torture and Tundra both in a lot of trouble. Tundra will fall here, but so will Drunken Master. Shepe on that Wretched Hag with the Shrunken Head up, still coming in. Release Kraken gets dropped right on his face, but he gets the Fork Lightning on Zane, actually. And now a bunch of damage. Keg will finish off the Master of Arms. Hag now in some trouble. Is gonna fall.
Genocide.
So, all of a sudden, Legion side taking a extremely positive initiation. Imberboy actually buying out. And they'll take mid-tower here. Buybacks on 3 heroes, Hag, Torture, and Tundra. They see that on the Legion side, they're like, let's get the hell out of here. So Hellborn will force the Legion side to back up as they use the buyouts for some defense. Imberboy going to be saying, alright, I'll leave you that one little dragon so it doesn't respawn. Wretched Hag gonna clean up the jungle a little bit more. Gonna try to boost her farm even higher. Getting closer and closer to that DM 482 GPM compared to 512. They were 50 apart before, and now they're only about 30. As Hellborn is really getting closer and closer into this. They only have a 5k golden experience lead, only 6k gold. For the Legion side, but of course, the later you get, the more resources are farmed, the less that actually means. 5k gold at 10 minutes and 5k gold at 40 minutes are very, very different things. And at this point, this is not that big a lead. If you get if you win a team fight and take a tower like that, that lead's going to go away. And with the rate Hag's farming at, it could go away if they just let them pre-farm. And that's sort of what Legion's doing. Ancient's going to be stacked here, tripled, and completed as a team. As Imboboy's probably going to get most of this, but the turret going to pick off a couple right there. Zane going to grab a couple himself. And we're at a bit of a stalemate right now. As Legion did really win the last team fight, and Hellborn knows it, but Legion also knows that they lost a couple of team fights before that, so... Fade gonna come in here, but Hammerstorm knows what's going on because of all the words of Rev, and he's gonna PK and portal out. As Kongor's going down here, but there's a word of Rev right on top of him, so they know exactly what's happening here, and of course the Hawk is gonna come over and scout him out as well. And now Legion's aware of that, and they're gonna run away. Aurora coming out, gonna spot out Master, swap onto Torturer, now he's in some trouble, push book away, that's gonna save him. Nope. Actually, Shrunken Head on Dunker Master, so he's going to kill Torturer. Master's in some trouble, going to die there as well. Wretched Hag getting locked down with the Burning Shadows and the Release the Kraken. She's going to fall really quickly. Hammerstorm jumping in the Engineer ult. He's now dead. So far, we have a 4-0 in favor of the Legion side, as they're just going to clean up everything. And this is going to be a base push. We don't have buyouts on anybody except for Tundra, who hasn't died. And he's going to try to put some harassment out. Needs to be a little careful because Fade will have a portal key up, and does have a portal key up. Coral there, preventing it from going off. Mid-Rax falling, jump on, actually Tundra jumps in, eats the Burning Shadows and dies, so there's a swap. That's what that was. So Genocide in favor of Legion side. Tundra actually buys back immediately, as most of his team will be respawning in a few seconds. Glyph stops them for a little bit, but still going to kill the Glyph. Hammerstorm going to stun 2, Tilla going to fall here. DM, nope, actually nice push book, just barely going to survive as that Tundra falls. Hammerstorm's next on the list, he's going to die. Tundra's Torture's also dead, as Tilla's somehow living, and that's going to call the GG's. So, all of a sudden, this game turning around really fast, and that's the GG's call. So well played by both sides, 43-minute game, that's certainly... You don't get to that point unless things are relatively even, but Reason finding the opening at the end of there and just taking a 4-0 engagement, that's going to turn into racks down in 2 lanes, and Hellborn not feeling that they could come back from that, and it's very possible that they couldn't. So, good game from both sides, and let's move